Okay, so we are now in section 7.7. Nice, Hayden. Subtract linear expressions. Okay, so when we subtract linear expressions, we are doing nothing more than adding the opposite. How many times have I said that subtraction is the same thing as adding the opposite of something? So we're using that definition of subtraction in today's lesson, and you'll see it more. So we're talking about linear expressions still, and this time subtracting the two. Now what we're really doing here when we see this is we're not doing anything to the first equation at all, but we're thinking of this subtraction as like a -1, and we're going to distribute that negative sign out over each of the terms that are in the second parentheses. So we're going to make the 2x -2x, and we're going to make the 7 -7. So we're just taking the opposite of a positive 2x plus 7 and making it -2x minus 7. We're getting rid of the parentheses, and now it's just a matter of adding like terms together. So 4x minus 2x is 2x. 3 or -3 and a -7 is a -10, because you're always going to pay attention to the sign right out in front of the terms. Let's look at another one. 5x minus 4 minus 2x plus 3. So this subtraction says, yes.
Why did it change from 2x plus 7 to -2x minus 7?
Because we're subtracting this off. So the subtraction says we have to take the opposite of those numbers in there. We're subtracting them, so we want to make the positive 2x. We're going to read this as 4x minus 2x. So 4x minus 2x. And -3 minus 7. So we have the -3 and we have the -7. So whenever you see a negative sign in front of a parentheses, you're going to change the sign of everything in there. So in this case, we have this negative here. It's going to get distributed out over both of those. Positive 2x becomes -2x, and a positive 3 becomes a -3. And then we gather like terms from there. So not a lot of difference from what we were doing on Friday with adding linear expressions, but now we're just taking and subtracting them. And all of your problems that you have for today, you just have to change the sign of everything in the second parentheses. If there is no parentheses, or if there's a parentheses that looks like this, down further. So here is a linear expression. They're expressing it as 2 times x plus 1. Here is another linear expression that's 3x. and we're subtracting it. So we're doing the same process here, except we have to do some work up front, and we have to use that distributive process with this 2. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. We're subtracting this linear expression 3x. So we just write it down like that. So then 2x minus 3x is a negative 1x. Do I have to write the 1 in there? No, I can just write it as negative x. I still have that plus 2, though, on the end. So either one of these will be an acceptable answer. They mean exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, so do I put a 1 in front of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Instead of writing a 1, we just put an x.
Yes. Yeah. So if you were to simplify this down, 5x minus 4x, I would normally just write that down as x, because you assume that there's a 1 in front of there because you see the x. So that is a 1x. Okay. That's really the only difference between yesterday or Fridays and today's is this minus sign. And if there's a parentheses behind it, distributing out that minus sign and changing the signs. I'm going to do one more just so that you can see that they're not always going to end up being negative. So this first parentheses, I'm not doing anything with it unless there's a number or a sign out in front of it, and there isn't. So I'm just going to leave it as negative 2x minus 1. This, I'm going to go and change those signs, and it's going to become negative x. And because it was a negative 7, we're going to change it to a positive 7. How many people have problems with me calling this a negative 7 instead of subtracting 7?
Me.
I do. I don't understand. Me.
They are the same thing, just like a negative 1x and a negative x are the same thing.
Nuh-uh.
Subtracting 7 and a negative 7 are the same thing. And it's because I could rewrite the second parentheses as this. X minus 7 is the same thing as x plus a negative 7.
Nope, that's cheating.
You're right.
Isaac,
So don't you guys want to cheat? You want to cheat.
Oh,
so follow
no.
me.
Yes.
And realize that this minus 7, subtraction of 7, is the same thing as a negative 7. Okay.
Do what she says. The teacher's giving us permission to cheat.
In this case. So when I finish simplifying this down, the negative 2x and the negative 1x become a negative 3x. And a negative 1 plus 7 equals a positive 1. You know, maybe that's why I didn't get into Harvard, is because they didn't like me. Because I cheat in my math problems. Dinley, you learned that for 3 hours straight on Saturday. Wow. Who was teaching you for 3 hours? He's going to stop talking now. Oh, your mom. Good. Good. So, your assignment. You're wondering, what the heck are you going to assign, Mrs. Reed? Page 407.
The suspense is killing me.
1 through 9. I know. Gosh. I'm trying to... It's not like I, assign pretty much the same thing all the time. Sometimes I throw in some extra problems, but generally it's the independent practice and the extra practice that I assign. So page 409 and 407 and 409, 1 through 9 and 16 through 23. Okay, that's it. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Bye bye.
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 Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.